Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, let's start off by saying Barakatham, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the whole elect, starting with the 144,000, shalom. All right, so Lord willing, I want to go into this lesson titled, more sure word of prophecy. And the reason why I want to go into this, let's go more sure word. And I spoke on this a little bit the other day, right? I spoke on this the other day a little bit, but I want to go into this because I was watching Elder Apostle Rumlot lesson, right? He was going into, he spoke about how, Trump say he want to, leave NATO, things of that such, right? Because they're not helping. But Revelation 17, right? It shows, matter of fact, we start here. Yeah, I'm going to go into a little bit about, Trump speaking of that. But the point of the lesson is, or the scriptures speaking in a sense, right? Revelation 12:11 says, and they overcame him, ultimately Israel, beginning with the elect. It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, which is, Yahweh shall laying down for us, right? And by the word of their testimony, and they loved not Elijah to death, right? And I read, meaning they loved not Elijah to death, meaning what they was going to die for the truth, right? They got to be martyred for the truth. Hey, it is what it is, right? They don't love their lives enough not to turn, they don't love their life that much to turn against Yahweh Shah when his persecution comes, right? Every verse 11 in NLT says, and they, it's like, let me turn this TV off. Then you recognize it was still playing. All right, slacky for that, right? But it says, Revelation 12:11, it says, and they have defeated him by the blood of the Lamb, right? And their testimony, right? And they did not love their lives so much that they were afraid to die, right? So when you go to that testimony, you go to Revelation chapter 19, right? And Lord went through the Spirit. It's one of my favorites to speak on because this is how we get the victory over the beast, man. Right? Overcome by the spirit of prophecy. Right? As Revelation 19:10 says, and I fell at his feet to worship him. He said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren. Right? This is the angel telling Apostle John, basically, I'm your brother just like you, in a sense, right? But it says, because Apostle John seeing all these things, he's seeing his beast get took down. Right? And this how we gonna gain the victory with Yahweh Shah. It says, I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shah. Worship Yahweh for the testimony of Yahweh Shah, the spirit of prophecy. Right? And watch the Elder Apostle Ramlah listening to hit me in the spirit because, we overcome this beast by what? This testimony, which is the spirit of prophecy. Right? When you go into it, back to 2 Peter 1:19, right? It says 2 Peter 1:19 says we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed as unto light that shines in dark places, knowledge and understanding, so the day dawn, right? They talking about the kingdom coming, right? We're children of the light. This light, this knowledge and understanding leads down that path to the kingdom. It says in the day star, we see how shall rise in your hearts, because He the one who brought the knowledge and understanding. He the one who brought the light, right? But understand the point I'm going into is we have also a more sure word of prophecy, right? That more sure word of prophecy, right? Let's go into it. I never went into it. You kind of know what prophecy is, but we're going to this word prophecy if it ever comes up. Let's try this. Yeah. I don't know what's been going on with these phones lately, man. Okay, there we go. Right? Okay, look, right? It says prophecy, right? I'll let it say it.
Strong's G 4397. Prophetikas.
Prophetikas, right? It says proceeding from a prophet, right? Because the prophets prophesy. Prophetic, right? Pertaining to a foreteller, prophetic of prophecy of the prophets, right? A foreteller meaning what? Really understand, right? Basically, we through the spirit of prophecy, we get a glimpse to the future, right? Let me see something. Okay, prediction, foretelling the future, right? A prediction, right? So we get a glimpse to the future. We know, right? Yahweh Shah came and showed us these things that would go down when the end would come, basically, in a sense, right? The prophecy was showing us, hey, because prophets do what? Prophets pray, let's go to Jeremiah 28 and 8. Jeremiah 28 and 8, right? It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and even in the pestilence. Because we know that prophecy, we have a more sure word of prophecy. And we know things are going to take place in here and show us when the end comes, show us how we're going to overcome this beast, show us how we're going to gain the victory. We know that this devil, which is so on high in a sense, right? How he got everybody allured in, everybody deceived, everybody drunk of his fornication. We know that through the spirit of power, how about Shah, this devil is going to go down, right? 2 Peter chapter 3, we know this place is going to be destroyed, right? We know this place is going to be burnt up. So what type of godly life should we live? We have a more sure word of prophecy, which shows that we don't fear Esau, If they want to kill us, they want to do everything against us, hey, you can do it if you got to do. We waiting on Yahweh, which is to come, right? And it's more sure word of prophecy, which is showing us, right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 1 real fast. And let's see. I start verse 3. It says, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. Right? Because things are going to go down to show when the end is going to come. Things are going to happen to show when the end is going to come. Right? This place, Psalms 49:11 speaks about how Esau, he feels this place going to last forever. Right? They come, and they see the world by these miracles. They see the world by these miracles they're able to do. Right? These great signs and wonders. Right? Technology, right? All the money he get out of all the his costliness, right? Where these countries are made rich, right? This place had everybody confused and deceived, and nobody pays attention to Yahweh. Nobody pays attention to the things that are going to come, right? When you look into the prophecy, you look into the scripture, you see that, hey, right, hey, you might be living a good life, you might have a riches, you might have, living the wicked, you got a rich, you have all these things, but guess what? Soon to come, right? Everything around you gonna be destroyed and burnt up. See, those ones who, it says, blessed is he that readeth and hear the words of prophecy and keep those things therein. Blessed are those ones which ultimately the elect, because we pay attention to the prophecies. Right? When we how shall I custom out, say, you can look at the sky and look at the clouds and things and can tell when it's gonna rain, tell when the weather is, but you can't look at the signs, right? And see what prophecy speaking, right? We at the downfall of this beast system, right? The scriptures are speaking at a rapid pace, man. Right? When you go to the book of Ezekiel, right? Israel always thought they had time. Israel always thought that, oh well, that ain't gonna happen for this X amount of years. That ain't gonna happen till this happen. That ain't gonna happen till that happen. Right? Let me see. What is that? Ezekiel chapter 12. We start verse 21. It says, and the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, son of man, what is that proverb that you have in the land of Israel, saying the days are prolonged and every vision felleth? Tell them therefore, this is the Lord Yahweh, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it. Right? As a proverb in Israel. But say unto them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision. Right? It said, for there should be no more any vain visions, nor flattering divination, right, within the house of Israel. Right? It says, for I am the Lord Yahweh, I will speak, and the word that I speak shall come to pass, and it shall be no more prolonged. For in your days, O rebellious house, will I say, and will perform it, says the Lord Yahweh. Right? So the effect of every vision is the days are at hand. Right? These things are playing out right in front of people's face. And the Lord is pleading with his people through the prophets. Why he said, give the one for me. But many people don't want to listen to it. Right? Isaiah 30, right? Prophesies to a good thing, prophesies to a smooth thing, because Esau don't put all his deceit and his lies out into the world. Everybody's worried about their place in this world, their wealth, their life, all of it. Lord Scripture say, love not the world, anything in the world. But through the spirit of prophecy, Esau, he don't have his chains over us no more. Because we understand, and matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to it. Because we speak about things in the future, but things that happen. Like, for instance, this beast system America being risen up. Right? When the Apostle John having a vision, right, the beast that was, is not, yet is, they were speaking about America, right? Because at that time, the Roman Empire, the ancient Roman Empire is in rule. But then they fell, and the ancient Roman Empire came back through America, the rise of Empire. But prophecy shows us how why this beast came up, and when he came up, and what he came up for, man. Prophecy showed us that why this beast is in rule today. He has to fulfill a purpose. The purpose of Yahweh Shah, right? To show the world wickedness, right, and show the world judgment behind it. Most times, that left hand to work through them, right? They're working the left hand, Yahushua. So they doing the most high work, but through the left hand. That's why America had its reign, in a sense. America has its reign because the Most High set them up. For the very same reason, Pharaoh, I have raised thee up. Because when the Most High destroy this place, when this place go down, everybody else gonna know, right? Omnipotent, the Most High omnipotent, meaning what? The one who reign, the one who rule. Nobody else is gonna be able to know. Everybody gonna know to never come up against Yahushua or his people ever again. The way he gonna bring destruction on America. But right now, America has everybody allured in. And the Most High said it that way. People wouldn't receive. People wouldn't hear his word. People wouldn't hear his truth. But for the Israel, beginning with the elect, we have a more sure word of prophecy that shows us, all these things, right? And shows us things that come to pass. So we don't, the things in this world don't. It's like when you know somebody, right? You know a guy, and say this guy, everybody else think he crazy. Oh man, I'm playing him, he crazy, but you truly know him. He acting out. You're like, yo, man, he in there wild, and you just sitting back like, bro, hey, he do this all the time. He ain't gonna do nothing. That's how we looking at Esau, Edom, man. 2 Corinthians 2:11, we're not ignorant of your devices. We know that you're going to do. We know prophecy tells us these things are going to happen, right? But that's why I said wisdom and knowledge should be stability of our times. And these times to come, many people are going to be lost, running around like a chicken with their head cut off, lost, don't know what to do. And they're going to run to Esau, for answers. Esau, don't got all the answers. He's going to be is get down and lay down. You're either going to follow us or we're going to kill you, right? People ain't going to know what to do except for the elect, right? Because we have that sure word of prophecy, which showed us these things to come. Let's read it, Isaiah 42:9. It says, verse 9. It's like he says, behold, the former things will come to pass, meaning prophecies that are past, right? And new things do I declare, meaning prophecies. So you have prophecies that happen, right? Prophecies that's going to happen, and prophecies that's going on right now, right? It says, before they spring forth, I tell you of them, because before these things happen, right? How he tells you of them. He puts us down upon them, like the mark of the beast, things and such. He tells us these things, so therefore that when they come, right? It's like when the teacher give you a test, right? They tell you about the test. They give you a study guide. They give you all the things to prepare for the test. And the day of the test, they expect to be prepared. Well, we being prepared through that spirit of prophecy. But when these tests come, right? The temptation, right? We're going to come try the whole world. The mark of the beast, his digital system, his new world order, right? Esau coming out with great wrath. Many people are going to go against Yahushua. That's why the scripture said in Revelation 11, they love not their lives. They love not their lives unto death. Meaning what? Like when Esau, don't come with great wrath and destruction, many people are going to take that chip because they don't want to die. They don't want to lose family, friends, children, mothers, brothers, sisters. They don't want to lose that, right? They don't want to lose their own life. So they're going to give into the beast system. They're going to give into this way. But we have a spirit of prophecy. Know that, hey, the scripture tells us that what? Apostle John said he saw men that would be beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. Men that were killed for this truth. It happened back then. It's happening now, right? It's happening today. It's going to happen in the future, in time to come. Because the prophecy tells us that. Right? We have this more where the prophecy is putting us down in all aspects, all ways. It's like the teacher giving you the study guide, but the study guide is the exact test. You don't realize it until you get to the school. They're like, hold on. When you actually study, you're like, hold on. Right? And the next thing you know, that teacher grade to tell you to do the test. Teacher say, if you did the study guide and you studied and you really did it, you would pass this test. You get the test, you realize, like, dang, but this is exactly the study guide was the test. And that's how it is with these scriptures, the prophecy. Right? We have all the tools. The scriptures say that you're not in darkness, right? You're children of the light, right? When you go into it, that light is the wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? We're children of the day. The day is going to referring to the kingdom, right? Day, night is the end of the day, and day is the beginning of a new day, right? Because this kingdom is going to go down, this dark kingdom, and the new day was the kingdom. How about Shah soon to come? But we have the light, we have the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? So that we can overcome these beasts and inherit the kingdom. Right, that more sure word of prophecy that we read about, that light that shine up in dark places, right? So when Esau, don't come, when he pop out behind, it's like when somebody hide behind the door, they're behind the door, and they jump behind the door to scare you. You just look at them like, man, I already knew you was right there. We know your moves, right? We're not ignorant of your devices. We know what you're gonna do. We know these things gonna play out. We're not out here rumbling around trying to look like a chick with their head cut off, worried and scared about what's going on in the world, this war going on. Nah, we talking about these wars in the edification purpose. Right, for our people, because we tell you, hey, these are signs. These are things that's going to go down. These things are going to happen, man. These things that were set to happen, right? And then we know that the ends come, right? Now it's time for us to inherit the kingdom, right? Let's go to Hebrews, right? Go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, right? And start at verse 3, right? It says, matter of fact, I'll read this in the NLT. It says, what makes us think we can escape if we ignore the great salvation that was first announced by the Lord Yahweh Shah himself and then delivered unto us by those who heard him speak? Right? So what makes you think you can escape if you ignore prophecy? If you ignore the prophecy on the highways, byways, teaching words, teaching the truth, telling you each and everything that's going down. Remember, Most High said, brother, Most High controls everything that goes on here. A tree branch don't fall from a tree without the Most High allowing it, man. Most High controls everything. So he giving you the whole rundown. This gonna take place, this gonna take place. And you ain't just gonna walk outside like, hey, okay, at 1:13 on August 22nd, no. You have signs. You have signs. You have signs that show you these things coming to pass. As you're gonna get into with Trump, NATO, EU. You see how right now Trump, matter of fact, we're gonna come back to this, right? I typed this in, right? I said Trump said he wants to leave NATO. It says President Donald Trump stated that he is strongly considering pulling the United States out of NATO, criticizing European allies for refusing to join the U.S. conflict with Iran. However, U.S. is going to say how you can't leave without approval of, like, you have the legislative, judicial, and executive. You have that branch of the government, but he basically can't leave. He can't just leave on his own. Which these devils don't care. He'll do what they want to do anyway. But the point is, we seeing. I did a lesson about 2 weeks ago, going to Secretary Chapter 15, right? How real quick. Let me go to this real fast. When you go into it, how America trying to come up against, Iran, these Arabs, which is going on today, right? Secretary 15, right? So this right here is going into the the dragons of Arabia, right? These are going into that Middle East, Iran, right? Things as such, right? How they at war, right? How they at war, right? How these things is going on right now, right? Right? And prophecy is going on. Prophecy is going on right now, right? The what is it? I think it's Carmanian. What do you want to talk about? Right? Look. Also, the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth like wild boars of the wood, and a great power shall they come and join the battle with them. And they shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. The Assyrians talk about America because they come in that steed of the Assyrians, like Nineveh, right? Things as such. Right? The Carmanians were talking about these Arabs, right? The dragons of Arabia. You're talking about the Arabs. Also, Arabs meaning mixed, but Iran, right? Those countries over there that's there. This is what's going on. Prophecy, Secretary 15 is playing out right here in front of your face right now, right? And how America thought they was gonna go over there and bully Iran, but when you read the scriptures, it says, and then the dragons have the upper hand. Remember their nature, because these Arabs, in a sense, right? These Ishmaelites, in a sense, right? They're, that's their nature, right? Wow, that's what they do. That's why they always in something. Esau, I'm trying to stir them up, but prophecy showing they're gonna have the upper hand, right? The least of the flock is drawn out. You seeing prophecy play out right in front of your face. But that's a lesson for another. I did a lesson on that, but that's a lesson for another day. But I just brought that out just to show, in a sense, going back to the scripture, how, or going back to this, how right now, all right, while we're going to grab, right, see, Trump wants to leave NATO because these NATO countries are basically backing out on him. Because when you understand, El Apostle, Roman spoken this as well, but I want to grab this part, Revelation 17, right? When you go into this coming up with this beast, right, this eighth head, this beast was talking about America, right? Which came out the seven, right? The eighth came out of America, stemmed from Great Britain, which is America, right? When you go into it, right? You have this revival empire, right? America, this beast system, America, NATO, EU, right? Remember, these people hated the whore. Right here, Revelation 17, right? And 16. It says in the 10 horns, right, which is EU, the European Union, right? These European countries, they hate America. You see, they don't even want to help them. It says, the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. But watch this. For Yahweh have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom to the beast until the words of Yahweh should be fulfilled. So ultimately, the only reason they haven't turned on her yet, right, is because they fulfill the will of Yahweh Shah, the Most High. But right now, you have these angels, all right? They stirring up the minds of these kings. They're stirring the minds of these kings, right? They're creating the Most High, promoting it. The Most High showing us signs. NATO backing out on America, right? Trump wants to leave NATO, right? You know, these are signs that's showing you what is going on right here today, right? Which ultimately is going to lead to what? Armageddon, World War III, right? We know the scripture speak about how Russia, Iran, China, you know, Russia and its allies are going to shoot missiles onto America. All these countries are going to come up and how you think? What you think? What you think that should eat her flesh and burn her with fire mean? Let me know nuclear missiles, those ICBM missiles hitting this place, right? They're going to come together and come against this place, right? You know, and we seeing the signs of this play out right here today. We seeing the signs right here play out right in front of us. We have a more sure word of prophecy, man. So, right, so when we go back to Hebrews, right? When we go back to Hebrews, right? Hebrews 2 and 3, let's read this again. It says, so what makes us think we can escape if we ignore this great salvation that was first announced by the Lord Yahweh Shah himself, and then delivered unto us by those who heard him speak? Now, hold that. We're going to go back to here. Revelation chapter 1 says the revelation, meaning revealing, right, of Yahweh Shah, Hamashiach, which Yahweh gave it to him to show unto his servants, which are the prophets, things which must shortly come to pass. And he did, and he sent and signified it by his angel to his servant John, because Yahweh Shah brought that light. Now we have the Rakakadash, right, the Holy Spirit, right, which is giving us knowledge with understanding to see these things, understanding things, to see the signs. And these are signs to show us that this is a sure word of prophecy. You can't stop prophecy. The end is here. We at the end of the end, man. Right? We seen it play out right in front of us. How you think we're going to escape if we ignore this word? How you going to escape if you ignore this, man? It's going on right in front of your face. That's why Yahweh Shah cussed them out. You can look at the sky. You can open your window and see the sun out. It's a sunny day today. Let me put some shorts on, a t-shirt. Right? Oh, it's a cloudy day today. Oh, it's going to rain. Let me put on a jacket so I can make sure I get my umbrella. Right? But you can't look at the signs and wonder to see when prophecy go down. Right? You know? It's Hebrews 2, right? Verse 4. It says in NLT, it says, and Yahweh confirmed the message by giving signs and wonders and various miracles and gifts of the Holy Spirit whenever he chose. So that's how we were able to see these things, understand these things through the signs. We're not just speaking from our own understanding. Let's relate this to Revelation 17. No, man, it's the Spirit. We broke it down to show you, and it's playing out right in front of your face. The signs showing it that, hey, the Most High promoted the fight. World War III is soon to pop off. We seen everything. We seen this beast, the EU, the 10 horn. We seen them hate the whore. We seen them turn against her, right? We seen it happen right in front of us, right? You know, it's like when people having a conversation, you look at them and be like, oh, they finna fight. Hey, we looking at, hey, boy, it's finna be something going on. And what does he speak about? Armageddon, World War III, the Valley of Jehoshaphat. How you have the angels over there stirring up the minds of these people, man. Gather them all up, gather the kings of the east, man. Get ready to make them fight against each other, right? Get them to go against each other. Right, even with, I was just looking up before I started the lesson how Spain didn't want to let America use his army bases. Spain is part of NATO, man. Right, we seeing it happen right in front of us. They said hate the whore. We seeing prophecy unfold. We have a more sure word of prophecy, right? And we overcome this beast by the spirit of prophecy, man. That's how we don't give in. We don't quit. We don't basically we don't fall for Esau gimmicks. He can't trick us or deceive us. He can't get off on us, right? Because we know through the spirit of prophecy, how about Yahweh Shah, what's going down and what's to come, man. Right? You know, because the spirit of prophecy tells us that before I tell you of these things, before these things spring forth, I tell you of them. Right? So that's how we're preparing ourselves in these times through the spirit of prophecy. How about Yahweh Shah? Because we have a sure word of prophecy. I mean, a foretelling of the future, man, and things that happen, and things that's going on right now. Right? So with that, let's see. I had another precept I wanted to grab. You know, it's like, you know, it's you know. Kind of the point kind of made through the spirit. You know, it's a lot to you know, can ramble about. We'll grab this scripture right here, 2 Ezra 9:11. Well, actually, we'll start at 2 Ezra 8. Then we go to 9, because like I say, when you understand, man, that you know, ultimately many titles are running through my head as I'm doing this lesson. You know, hey, you know, right? You know, you can't stop prophecy, right? The signs are evident. The signs are showing, right? You know, right? You know, we have a more sure word of prophecy, right? You know. Don't ignore the signs. Hey, the signs are right there. Yahweh Shah is showing us the script. He's showing us right now the effect of every vision. Right, the days are at hand. The effect of every vision. Right, it's going down. Right, the Most High is showing us right in front of us. We seeing this place. We seeing NATO turn against America. We seeing the least of the flock drawing out. We seeing these things play out. So now, what you think will come? Ezekiel 38, Jeremiah 49, Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51. Right, what's next? America to go down, and we know. When this revival empire, America, Babylon, we're going to call it, when this place go down, guess what comes up? The spirit of prophecy, how about Yahweh Shah? And this is what the prophets, this is what the apostles, this is what the men, the sisters, maybe how about Yahweh Shah, been searching out ever since we heard the good news. This is what we've been searching out. But we understand and see these things through signs and wonders. And these signs are basically faith boosters. That's why, I'm so up tempo in the spirit. Speaking fact, 'cause it's like one of them I told you moments. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we've been telling you, because it's going to get to a point. Hey, Luke 13, right? When the master has risen and shut the door, hey, you're going to begin within and stop. Begin to stand without. You're going to knock. And he's going to say, get from whence? I know not who you are, man. Or you better pay attention to these signs of what is going on now. Well, merely paraphrasing that precept, Luke 13:25. But you better pay attention to the signs that's going on now, man. Right? You better pay attention, because once the door closed, you're over with. It's gonna come to a point to where the script probably speaks about, and it's prophesied that what the roof of the tongue, our tongue will be cleaved to the roof of our mouth. Meaning, well, it ain't gonna be no more speaking his word no more. Ain't gonna be no more how it's about. Ain't gonna be no how about it no more. Esau, Edom's gonna shut his word out. He's gonna push away, because this is the biggest threat to the new order. We spilling his plans. We exposing him. That's part of prophecy. This men of perdition being exposed, being pointed out, and he's want to get rid of that. He's gonna shut down YouTube. Right? He's gonna ban the Bibles, which they've been trying to push that already. They're already trying to get rid of certain history aspects that prove things, right? They're gonna get rid of these things, man. Right? So this taking Ezra chapter 8. That's like, excuse me, if I. I got some earlier. No, I got some earlier. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, slide for that. But right here, right? So I'm gonna go to 2 Ezra chapter 8. Then we're gonna go to verse 9. So it says all right, 2 Ezra 8. Let's read. Let's start at 62. Right? It says, these things have I not shewed unto all men, but unto thee, and a few like thee, right? Because it's the angel Uriel showing Esdras, right? Angel Uriel meaning angel of the light, right? Which is that knowledge of wisdom, right? But it says, then answered I and said, behold, O Lord, now hast thou showed me the multitude of the wonders which thou wilt begin to do in the last times, but at what time thou hast not showed me. Right? So he's saying, you done showed me all these things. You done told me about the prophecy. You done showed me all these things. You ain't showed me what time these things gonna come. You ain't show me when the end gonna come. You ain't show me you ain't tell me when the exact day your house gonna come back. You ain't tell me when the exact day Armageddon gonna go down. You ain't tell me when the exact day that they're gonna shoot the ICB. You ain't tell me all that. Right? Watch what he tell him. So 2 Ezra 9, verse 1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently, meaning the scriptures. Right? When you go to Revelation chapter 11 and 1, right? You have to measure yourself in the scriptures, measure time in the scriptures. Right, things that's going on in order signs. Hey, this is Revelation 17 speaks about this. How they should hate the whore, right? They're gonna turn on this whore, right? We seeing Russia, China helping Iran. Hey, Ezekiel 38 speaks about that, right? All the bands with thee, right? Persia, right? You can be a guardian to them. Russia's a guardian to these. We've seen these things play out. We've seen these things going on, right? It says, in itself, measure thou the time diligently in itself, when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before. Then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So when we see these signs, then you can understand that, hey, the end has come. The last days are here, right? The effective revision at his hand. Hey, this is leading to this. And we need to get on point. We need to go in our watchtower. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou wilt well understand that the Most High spake of those things for the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, man. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works, and the ending in effects and signs, so that everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. What is that going into? The spirit of prophecy, right? Get on the highway bar, teaching the word, teaching the truth, being in the scriptures, being in the spirit, right? That's how we're gonna be able to escape. That's how we're gonna be able to overcome this beast. That's when you go into salvation, right? It goes into salvation goes to basically saved from pending destruction. What is the pending destruction that's coming upon America, right? How we gonna escape from that? By paying attention to the signs of the wonder, measuring the time diligently in the scripture, being on that watchtower, staying focused, right? Measuring yourself in the scriptures, right? As I was speaking about Revelation 11 and 1, right? How it speaks about, and there was given to me a reed like unto a rod. It's an ancient measure stick, right? How you measure yourself today? How you measure time today? Through the scriptures, man. See things are going on, line it with the scriptures. We ain't line it with man's knowledge. We ain't line it with man's wisdom, right? Line it with the scriptures. How about you, shot through the spirit of power? How about you, shot, man, right? So and that gives us a what? A more sure word of prophecy, man, right? You know, nobody can't. Hey, you can't try to trick or deceive, but oh, that ain't gonna happen. Hey, we have a more sure word of prophecy, man, right? Right. So Lord willing. With that being said, Lord willing, I hope this lesson was edifying and exhausting, right? And I want to give all and then glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the hopefully elect, starting with the 144,000. Shalom.